Wow, guys, what the View host is trying to do to Condoleezza Rice was a strike below the belt. Check this out.
I called it an assault on law and order and an assault on our democratic processes. So full stop, it was wrong. Law enforcement will determine what happened there, and those who violated the law ought to be punished. Now, I think what Senator McConnell may be referencing is, yes, it's time to move on in a lot of ways. I'm one who believes that the American people are now concerned about their what we call kitchen table issues, the price of gasoline, inflation. We ought to move on to the next generation, move ahead and deal with the American people's issues.
It's really politically expedient for Mitch McConnell to say, let's move on, let's move on. The problem is that past will become prologue if we don't find out exactly what happened January 6th.
And we will.
So it's not time right now.
We will.
I think she's trying to force something. She's trying to force the agenda that Trump planned January 6th. Trump already came out and said he didn't plan it. He just said he wanted a peaceful protest. Okay, so what? He had a few bad apples that just went and did what they wanted to do. Like she said earlier in the interview, they should face legal consequences, right? And I feel like that's the only way to go about it. But to sit here and try to force something on some people and on someone that really didn't have that much to do with it is insane. I can't help that people want to go out there and make choices on their own. You know what I mean? Like that's just not fair to sit there and try to put this on them and still force it on them. They don't have anything to do to this guy, so they're trying to just do anything that they can at this point, and that's not fair. Let's keep going, guys.
We will find out.
We must find
we
out
will
before
find out.
moving on.
We will find out. But I'm going to tell you, I live in California, not Washington, D.C. And the American people do have other concerns that we ought to be thinking about and talking about.
Respectfully,
And
Madam
so,
Secretary, I think
well, let me finish, Sunny. I also know that as a government and as a country, we've got to be concerned about the things that are making life hard for Americans and hard.
Okay, right now, guys, I want you to give me the top three things that are making life hard for Americans. Okay, give me one thing, 'cause I know you can say Biden, you can say Harris. So just give me one thing that are making life hard for Americans. I'm telling you, it just go vote for the person that's best for you. Honestly, and we all know who that person is. They bash him in the media daily. Th- they just try to tarnish his name. They try to make him something that he's not. You know what I mean? That on this show, look how Joey's looking at him. Just insane. On this show, they try to do it every time they have a show. Any time that they want to just make something trending, they just talk about it. And it's not fair. Let's keep going, guys.
For American families. First of all, parents ought to be involved in their children's
Yes, they should.
education. Their children are in school 7 hours. That's a very formative period. And I think parents ought to have a say. We used to have parent-teacher conferences. We used to have PTAs. There are lots of ways for parents to be involved, and they should be. My parents never thought I was going to grow up in a world without prejudice, but they also told me that's somebody else's problem, not yours. You're going to overcome it, and you are going to be anything you want to be. And that's the message that I think we ought to be sending to kids. One of the worries that I have.
Guys, I think she's 100% right. That's the message we need to be sending the kids because I was going to school always thinking that the other person was bad, the other person that wanted to see me win. You know what I mean? Going in there, I already knew like I had a victim mindset. Like I could go in and I could just do bad on something. I'd be like, no, they graded me low because I'm this skin tone or I'm this color. And another thing is parents need to be more involved in their kids' education on the sense that there's drag queens and stuff like that pushing agendas on kids these days. You know what I mean? I don't think no kid should be learning about the type of stuff that they're trying to force and push down kids' throat. The Olympics, for example. What just happened there? Like what was that? What was that? Out of all the viewers they had, what was that, man? That was insane. And it's gonna be really hard raising a kid in this world, and this is some of the stuff that I have to fight against. You have to kiss your kid goodbye to go to school, and they're learning God knows what. Man, it's getting treacherous. I'm not gonna lie, it's getting treacherous. Let's keep going, guys.
About the way that we're talking about race is that it either seems so big that somehow white people now have to feel guilty for everything that happened in the past.
And they
I
shouldn't.
don't think that's very productive. Or black people have to feel disempowered by race. I would like black kids to be completely empowered, to know that they are beautiful in their blackness. But in order to do that, I don't have to make white kids feel bad for being white. It goes back to how we teach the history.
That's what I'm saying.
We teach the good and we teach the bad of
Yes.
history.
Yeah,
But
right.
what we don't do is make 7 and 10-year-olds feel that they are somehow bad people because of the color of their skin. We've been through that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we don't need to do that again.
There are people who will say it feels worse now when we're talking about race, or it just feels like a divisive environment.
It sure doesn't feel worse than when I grew up in Jim Crow, Alabama. Okay, so let's drop this notion that we're worse at race relations today than we were in the past. Really? That means we've made no progress? Really? And so I think the hyperbole about how much worse it is isn't doing us any good. We still have, well, this country is never going to be colorblind. We had the initial original sin of slavery. It's still with us.
So for people who say, you know what, it's top down, it starts with the president, it starts with the words that he speaks.
Come on, all right? I would be the first to say we need to watch our language about race. We need to watch that we don't use dog whistles to people who, but when we start saying, oh, you know, it's worse today, no, they're not.
Guys, the world that we live in today, if I was to agree with Condoleezza Rice publicly around my family or something like that, I would get looked at as I don't want to be in my skin or I'm not black. You know what I mean? If I'm not willing to play victim, they're looking at me as I'm some odd one out of the bunch. I don't think that's the right way to go about this. I think the healthy way to go about this is you don't teach kids that just because you're black or just because you're white, Indian, Mexican, anything that you have to be looking over your shoulder or expecting someone to treat you a bad way, because when you do that, you bring that stuff onto you. You know what I mean? Like you just go out and you're looking for trouble. It's kind of like when they say, "Oh, you get you a gun, you gonna be willing to use it." It's something like that. And I think that's not a really good way to look at it. I really want to know what you guys think about this. I really want to know what do you think will work so we all could work together. Cause I'm a guy that's for togetherness. I'm a guy that's let's work together and let's get something done. That's the type of person I am, and I really want to know if you guys think that's the best way to go about this, honestly. Cause I really do value you guys' opinions. I love you guys' comments. Like I say all the time, I scroll through them. When I'm in bed, I'm just scrolling through them. I'm just reading them because the opinions and some of the stuff you guys say, it gives me a another look on things. You know what I mean? Because I'm not just looking at it from my point of view. So let me know what you guys think about the video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And as always, let me know what to react to. We're out.